Hi, my name is Krista, and it is about 9 o'clock in the morning in the middle of the United States. It's raining. I have a hunch that springtime is going to come any day now. It's just, you can feel that air just starting to warm up just a little bit. And I like to do these short little videos for you so that you can help get your Meniere's under control so that you can start to get your life back. And some of what we don't really talk about is that we have Meniere's thoughts pretty much 24 hours, 7 days a week. Um, when I was first diagnosed and years afterwards, it just seemed like every waking hour I was spent with nagging, ugly, these Meniere's thoughts, these fears about what was going to happen to me, the worst case scenario fears. I didn't even remember who I was. I didn't even have my own identity anymore. I was just walking around with all of these fears. And the truth of it is that we were diagnosed with a health condition. We were told that there was no known cure. And because of that, we're taught that we're supposed to manage this condition. And the biggest part of managing that condition is managing how we feel about ourselves. And so what we need to do is take back real estate from Meniere's so that we can start to live our lives. Before I forget, I want you to know that you have a free consultation coming to you if you want it. We can talk about where you've been, what your life looks like, how I can help you get to a better place. And if you feel that these videos are helping people, if you know somebody who's struggling, please feel free to share it. I want as many people as possible getting their life back from a health condition that we're told we can't really get our life back. So I want to talk about this state that we're in, that we don't have our own minds anymore. Every thought we take, when what we eat, who we hang out with, what we do during the day is all about to avoid the awful Meniere's episode, which is good. It's good to have that self-preservation. It's important for us. But what you probably know is that you go through life not having many thoughts on your own. It's kind of like being in a group of people where you're not allowed to say anything or contribute anything or express who you really are because this entity has taken you over. So, how do we get our mind back? How do we get who we are and still move forward, doing the right steps, taking the right action to balance the symptoms to get our life back? I want to just remind you that if you're having a lot of these Meniere's thoughts, you don't know what's going to happen, the fear is bad, it's probably because you are very concerned that you're doing the right thing. You're planning a lot of, what you're going to do, what doctors you're going to see, what steps you're going to take. And your mind is always reeling and reeling about what you're supposed to be doing. Are you doing the right thing? What did you do wrong? Did you do something bad? Is it your fault? And I want to remind you that you are doing the best you can. The steps that you're taking are good steps. The doctors you're seeing, those are good steps. If you don't like the person you're seeing, you're going to find a new person, and those are good steps. If you're learning about nutrition and you're starting to make good habits for your nutrition, those are good steps. And so knowing that you're taking good steps and knowing that you are a good person, that you care and you're concerned, is it not okay to give yourself a little break? And when you know that you're taking the right steps and you see these angry, guilty, spooky thoughts come that are Meniere's thoughts, is it okay to say, okay, Meniere's thoughts, I see that you're there. I see that you're trying to get me to remember, but what else is going on in my mind right now? You know, um, you start to get your life back when instead of Meniere's taking 100% of the pie of your mental capacity, your mental real estate, instead of Meniere's taking 100% of that, you start to take a little bit back. You start to have more times where you are expressing who you are. You're not Meniere's. You're expressing who you really are by doing activities that you love to do. You are looking forward to reading your novel that you love to read. You are looking forward to, good morning, Babsy. How are you doing? I hope you're having a good day today. And I hope that you are having your thoughts and you're not letting Meniere's do the thinking for you. Meniere's first takes 100% of our mind. Then we realize that Meniere's is taking 100% of our mind. How do we get our real estate of our brain back? And then we start doing little things like realizing that Meniere's has taken the 100% of the pie, and we say, you know what, I'm going to take some of that back. I am going to get a new recipe. If you like cooking, I'm going to get a new recipe of something I haven't tried before, and I'm going to enjoy the time in the kitchen preparing that meal. And you've taken back a little bit of that real estate from Meniere's. Now Meniere's doesn't have 100%. Now Meniere's used to have 100%, but now you've got 20% of yours back because you've spent 20 minutes to an hour in the kitchen enjoying the process of living. I'm talking to you today about how do you get more of the enjoyment of living instead of these aching, awful Meniere's thoughts that seem to take it over. If you ever had a dream, if you were young and you ever had a dream of something you wanted to do, maybe you wanted to play an instrument, maybe you wanted to learn how to draw, maybe you wanted to pick up some pastels and learn how to do that. Maybe you like to work in the garage. Maybe you haven't worked with your hands in a while and you like the way things are built. You like the way that you like carpentry. Anytime you do any of those activities, you take back a little bit of real estate from Meniere's, whose goal is to take every part of your mental capacity so that you're going through the day worried and afraid all day long. You don't have to go through your life afraid. The way you get out of it is by taking back little pieces of yourself. And the way we do that is by being aware of what we're thinking about. What are you thinking about right now? Are you thinking about what happens in the future if something bad goes wrong? Or are you thinking about, these are the acts I'm going to do, these are the steps I'm going to take, this is the learning that I'm doing to get better, and then be satisfied with that. I've done that. I can now take that part of planning with Meniere's, dealing with Meniere's, thinking of Meniere's, saying the word Meniere's, and take that, put that off to the side, and decide I'm going to take all of the rest of that for life, for living. You have your life back when you are living your life. You don't have to wait for Meniere's to go away to live your life. You can live your life now. You can now that you're satisfied that you are taking the right steps, you have to give it that space of time for the results to come in. When you start any new project, eating style, a new way of thinking, there's a span of time that you don't really know what's going to happen. You're not really sure how that's going to work out. You've got to wait the time out. So put Meniere's thoughts, put them on the side of the table. Just get them out of the way. You know you're working on it. And then get your life. Who are you? What do you think about? What do you dream about? When you're sitting there thinking, if I didn't have this health condition and I didn't have all this stuff I had to do before I could get better, before I could live, when you're thinking those thoughts, what are you doing in those dreams? What is it that you would like to do if you didn't have Meniere's? And now that you've moved all of the Meniere's thinking off to the side because you know you're working on it, can you now not just start living that life that you would live if you didn't have the health condition. And if you did that today and tomorrow and the next day, and you did it for a week, by the end of that week, you'd have more of your life back, and Meniere's would have a heck of a lot less. Meniere's is over there hanging out on the table knowing it's being worked on. It's not nagging you anymore, because your job in living is to live your life. It's to know what it takes for you to want to wake up in the morning, what it takes for you to look forward to your engagement in the world, and to do the engagement. Your life doesn't end when Meniere's comes to town. It means that that the living is more important, that the knowing who you are and what you love and doing those things and expressing yourself is more important. I want to know what you think about these things. I remember laying in bed day after day, and I was always a dreamer. I was always dreaming about a beautiful future. And when I got that diagnosis and I came home and thought that my life was over, and I made all the appropriate phone calls, I called my family, I can't come to see you, I'm sorry. I'm not only ill, but they tell me this thing's never going to go away, I'm always going to have it. I remember feeling that the dreams that I had when I was young began to go away, and I began to make excuses for that. You begin to say, well, I can't eat out anymore, I can't travel anymore. I can drive now, but who knows how long I'm going to be able to drive. And so I would walk around feeling like the person whose life had been taken away from them. And I began to have Meniere's thoughts day in and day out. I'm sure I dreamt about them. I tend to hide in my sleep, so it never kept me awake, thank goodness. But from the time that I'd open up my eyes, all throughout that day, I would have these Meniere's thoughts. I couldn't get my mind back. And I am telling you that, symptoms or not, your life comes back to you when you start having other kinds of thoughts. When you say, okay, Meniere's thoughts, I hear you're in there. You're trying to dig on me. You're trying to steal my day away. What else is going on in there? Who am I? What do I love? Who do I want to be with? What kinds of experiences do I want? Is it really true that I can't travel anymore? Or is it just that I need to learn how to eat right and think right, get these symptoms lower so that I can travel? I'm going to leave that with you today. It was nice to see you. I love talking about these things with you. I have visions of you feeling better, doing better. Remember, the greater the pain that you feel equals the amount of potential that you have. Because if you didn't have that potential, you wouldn't suffer over it. If you want the consultation, message me. Let me know in the comments. Just say, I want the strategy call. It's a free strategy call. We get on the phone. We talk about what your experience is like, what you would like it to be. What kinds of things would you do to make it a better experience of living? I'd like for people to stop talking about Meniere's and start talking about living and what their life means. My name is Krista. I am signing out. Share it if you think this would help people. I would love to know what you think about it. And I want you to go out there and take on your day. Okay, I'll see you on the next round.